Script time! Faith is the substance.
All right, let's get into this. Okay, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. The views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. And if you hear any music on here, we do not own the copyrights to this music. We are here to entertain. What's going on, little lady Justice? Always good to see you chime in. Okay, today we are going to be talking about a very serious matter, very serious message, and we're talking about cancer. So it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we have a couple of guests on here who are actually battled and survivors of this terrible disease. And we'll also discuss different forms of cancer and its effect not only on the person or the people who are suffering from cancer, but also from those who are supporting them. Now, I had my friend, my brother, Christopher David Nunn. I celebrate him every day, silently, and it's kind of hard to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. But I want to play this video real quick before we bring our guest on. It's Christopher's. I was doing a documentary on him, talking about cancer and the effects that it had on him and his journey. Unfortunately, he succumbed to cancer last year, but his spirit still lives on, and we still talk about him all the time. But I want to play his final thoughts. This was a part, I extracted this from the documentary I was doing on him, and it kind of seems it was the way that he was, the way that he thought. So I'm gonna play this real quick, and we'll be right back here with our guest on Dope Living TV Live. Right.
My life is good. I'm in a peaceful place. Even though I'm in a storm, I'm still in a peaceful place. I'm not in a place of worry because I know that some things are beyond our control, and that whatever's happening is going to happen anyway. My first bout with cancer, they was like, you know what I'm saying, you could take these supplements and blase skippy wool and everything will be all good. So I did that. I did the math, I did the research, I took all the supplements, the vitamins, the black seed oil, the B3, the B9, the D3, B12, B17, cell stop, all of these different things that are supposed to help eliminate cancer. I did that, and it still came back. You just have to prepare yourself in the midst of what's happening and stay focused on the positive aspect of it. And you know what I'm saying, you'll win in the end.
It's hard, man. I don't knock nobody else's struggle. I don't knock nobody else's pain. But cancer is a whole nother beast, man. You don't want it with this cancer shit. I'm telling you. Do not take your health for granted. If you're feeling some type of way in your body, go get checked out.
I just want y'all to know that I love y'all and I appreciate your support, all my fans, all my followers. I really appreciate y'all, and I'm praying for y'all just as much as y'all pray for me.
It's still hard to watch that. Let me bring the my people on. Everybody say what's up to Gina.
Hey,
Gina.
hey, Sella.
Hey.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
cancer is something else, man. I'm telling you
It
something.
is.
Oh man, I think we all can vouch for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got guests. Y'all bring your guests on.
Okay. Okay, I'll start then. My guest today is Miss Rochelle Hill Drayton. She's a young lady I've known for quite a few years. She's the niece of my best friend. And I asked her to come on today because she's going through her cancer journey now. And just to come on and speak a little bit about breast cancer. So is Rochelle there?
Yeah, and I want to bring them both on.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
On.
We also have Michelle, the computer lady. Michelle is here to tell her story as well. She is a breast cancer survivor, and she will give a lot of insight of what individuals go through, the emotional roller coaster, the health roller coaster. And so this is going to be a very interesting topic and a very interesting night, very emotional. When you go through something like that or know someone who goes through that, not only does that individual go through it, but all of their loved ones go through it. So let's bring our guest on.
Let's welcome Rochelle. Hey, Rochelle.
Hi,
Hello.
Rochelle.
Hi, everybody.
And there's Michelle right there.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Y'all gotta excuse me. I gotta step out for a second.
Unmute yourself, Michelle.
Hi everyone, how you doing? Greg,
Good.
just take you a moment, baby.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Ladies, we just want to say that we really appreciate you coming on and share your story, because it's a difficult journey that you went through, and it's even harder to tell people about it. Not everyone wants to share what they went through when it comes to breast cancer, but to come on and tell your story and share, it can even enlighten someone else who's going through it right now. And so we appreciate you guys coming on and share your information with us.
Well, I'm happy to be here and happy to share.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's start with you, Rochelle. Marcella told us a little bit of background about your situation, but we want you to give us a firsthand visual of what you went through, and just tell us about what's going on.
Well, first off, my mother had breast cancer, and I went through it with her, taking care of her. And we was kind of, she was upset that she got breast cancer because she never drank nor smoked.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't know how she got the cancer.
Okay.
And it wasn't hereditary, because we was asked to do, I was asked to do a genetic testing as well as a bone density test to see if it runs in our family. Because my mother's mother had lung cancer as well as her father.
Okay.
And my dad, on my dad's side, I believe my grandmother had what was it? Liver cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather, he didn't have cancer, but he had something else. He was diabetic, as I believe, and he had heart trouble.
Okay.
So going through it with my mom, it was hard. Yeah, because she beat it through the breast cancer, but it went throughout her whole body, because she waited too late to get it done, to get tested, and to get out what they had available to help her out, to try to beat it before it spread out throughout her body.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because she was scared. She waited too late to get it done. With me, I found it I found it myself because ever since then I was doing my breast examination, getting mammograms every year,
Okay.
and since then, and the last 4 years I had well, the year before last I had stopped doing it, and I
Mm-hmm.
just started doing it myself because it was costing too much.
Okay.
Whenever I got the mammogram. So
Uh-huh.
whenever you go get a mammogram, the free mammograms, you got to tell your doctor to tell them I need an annual mammogram.
Okay.
So the wordings that makes a difference.
Okay.
Instead of just saying I need a mammogram, even though it's my yearly mammogram, I say it's my yearly mammogram. No, it's the routine is the word you need to use when you get a free mammogram done. So that
Okay.
you won't have to pay the cost. Because I am a postal worker.
Mm-hmm.
I do have insurance, but my insurance still the lab work is cost a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I had stopped taking the mammograms yearly.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was just doing my own self mammogram, and I always feel on myself. That's just me. I feel my body. Just look at my, just look and see what's different. What's going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
So as time went by, just last year, I was like, okay, wait a minute. This is whenever I did my mammograms, let me say this, it was always dense. It seemed like we Black women are always dense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So meaning that we just it's just a heavy breast, thickening breast, and that's it. That's all the explanation they gave to me.
Michelle, before you move on, Rochelle,
Yeah.
what exactly is dense? What does that mean?
That's just what I'm saying. Thickening of the breast. That's all that was explained to me.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing, Rochelle, you made the comment that they said it was not hereditary with breast cancer, but in my research, I'm showing that it says with cancer, it does not necessarily have to mean that others in your family actually had breast cancer. It could have been a different type of cancer, and you named people on your father's side, but your dad's mom, your grandma June,
right,
had colon cancer. So, and colon cancer, there's several cancers that are hereditary, and colon cancer and breast cancer are in that list as well. So it did not necessarily have to mean that someone actually had breast cancer. So cancer is hereditary in the family, on both of your sides.
Yeah, that's why they want you to check everything out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I believe that's where the bone density also came in too.
Mm-hmm. So when you went to the doctor and found out, when you finally went to the doctor, and what was exactly?
I went immediately. I called immediately when I felt a difference in my breast, because it was a difference bump than my usual feel in my breast. It was unusual, and it was larger than my normal feel of my doing my breast examination.
Okay.
So let me ask
and
you.
I called my doctor immediately, and when he did, I had to wait on the call from the hospital to get the mammogram done.
Okay.
Hey, may I ask you this? Did you? Because I think it's a little bit different with men as far as knowing when something's wrong. Basically, did you feel any? I mean, not examination wise, but in your body, did you feel something different?
No. I didn't. No, because as far as my job, I was a carrier, and I was worn out, tired, period, from being a carrier. So I couldn't tell if it was like something that was making me too tired or lazy. But no, there was no difference other than that.
Okay,
let's switch for a minute. No drainage or anything.
Let's switch for a minute. Let's get Michelle's story. Michelle, welcome to the show. Tell us your story, your backstory.
Well, I was diagnosed over 5 years ago. And so with me, like Rochelle, I found my own lump, but I had a scare back in the 80s, in my 20s. And what was going on then was there were 27 benign little cysts in my left breast. And so they removed those. And so this time when I had the breast cancer, now mind you, I also battling sarcoidosis in my body. That's an autoimmune disease. And so when I felt this one, it was in a different position, and it was, it grew from the size of a pea to the size of an egg in about 6 to 10 weeks.
Wow.
And so I already, I knew something was going on because it was different. The other one was squishy. This one was really hard and dense. And like Rochelle said, I also have dense breasts. I played ball, did a lot of activities. A lot of Black women, not only do we have dense breasts, when we're talking about dense, we're talking about the compaction of the breast. And so it's hard for the mammograms a lot of times to read. A lot of times when I got a mammogram, I'd also have to go get an ultrasound. And so that was the difference. But when I went to my internist, and she sent me over to the Women's Pavilion. And so the sister I know, because I had just had a mammogram, but I had a lot of stressors that year. The year before, my mother had passed away. I was going back and forth, and I was also in a bad truck accident. I was in a vehicle accident for my job. So I had a lot of stuff going on. And when this came forward, I found it, and I went over there, and then I talked to the sister that, she performs the mammogram. She's the technician. And, we're just talking, and I'm like, what do you think? And she's like, I think you should see the surgeon. I can't tell you whatever the doctor has to read the pathology, but I think you should go see the surgeon. But she said the mass is, it's a pretty good sized mass. So I went back to the doctor's office, and I waited on the doctor until she got finished with all her patients so she could refer me to the surgeon so we could go ahead and have the biopsy. And then I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was on my way to Charlotte for a training, and he called me and asked me all the HIPAA questions. And he said, I regret to inform you it's breast cancer. And I was so shocked. I was in so much shock. I didn't even ask them the grade or the size. I was just like, thank you, and I'll see you on my visit. And I didn't sleep at all for the next couple of days because it was just like my mind was just turning.
Wow. Was that the same thing for you, Rochelle? Is that how you felt when you finally found out that you did have it?
When I found out I had it, I was mad. I was pissed. I was like, wow, all this time I've been taking this test, nothing. And then all of a sudden it just came up, but you're right. I did have a little stress going on in my life too. And I dealt with it. So I was like, okay, what we gonna do from here on out? I'm gonna take charge from here. Okay, what we got to do?
That's good.
So when the doctor sent me to the oncologist couldn't meet me right away, but the surgeon did, which was rare because normally you meet the oncologist first. I met the surgeons first.
Wow.
And the surgeon told me immediately that I need to remove both breasts and my ovaries.
What?
Because it runs in my family. Because as I just explained to you how other cancers in my family was happening. And that took me aback too. I was like, I cried when she first told me that. She was like, that was my suggestion. Then she had to leave on emergency. And then the second surgeon that came in her place told me the same thing. And I was like, nah, this is ridiculous. I need a second opinion. And they sent me to University of Chicago. When I went to University of Chicago, they told me, no, I don't need to do all of that. We're going to try and firsthand on the left breast and see what's going on. Because mostly it's the left breast that I know of me and other cancer survivors, of my bowling partners, God family that's going through the same thing. I don't know what it is about the left breast. I don't know. It's with the heart being on that side. I have no idea why it's always the left breast. but we dealt with just the left breast. And so far, the treatment has been going very well. I'm waiting on radiation now.
Mm-hmm.
This is
But
recent.
yes, yeah. It's been a week today that I have did my radiation mode, so I can start radiation now. My surgery was September 15th.
What about you, Michelle? Did you have to go through chemo or radiation?
I didn't. I opted to have the bilateral mastectomy, so I had both removed. But I also, once the pathology came back, this is the tricky part, because at first they thought I had a triple positive breast cancer. And anytime you have a positive or any type of positive breast cancer, that means you have something in your breast that will bind to the medication to help you heal. But when I read the pathology report, and I read all my reports myself just to make sure, at the bottom of the report it says this test is inconclusive. So I went back to my internist and I said, I need you to read this with me, because with everything that was going on, I wanted to make sure that this was what was going on with me. And so then I went to visit the oncologist, and they wanted to start me on chemotherapy right away. They wanted to put a port in my chest and start me on chemotherapy. I said, no. I said to them, because I did literally 70, 80 hours of research on my own, because there's 40 different types of breast cancer.
Yes, it is.
And so
I agree.
I went and I asked them for the Oncotype DX test. This test pinpoints what type of cancer you actually have. But if you don't ask for it, they don't automatically give it to you.
What is the name of that again?
The Oncotype DX test.
Okay.
And I'm going to write this over here so you guys can see it.
Okay.
You're right about that. Yeah, because when I went to University of Chicago, that's where I found out how I got my breast cancer, and it was through birth control pills. And I was pissed. I was like, they was like, your breast cancer is hormonal. So what have you been taking or doing that's hormonal? And birth control pill, I've been on it since I was 14 years old.
Wow. And you know what? I do remember back in the day when I used to take birth control pills, and you know how they always say side effects or this or whatever. As you're saying that, I do remember reading things like that. I do remember reading that something like that can happen. That's crazy.
This is really eye-opening, because I've never had to experience it, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be knowledgeable about it. You know, even Michelle, with the fact that you researched and said, hey, I want more extensive tests and I want you to do this, because, you know, the first thing they want to say is chemo, radiation. Let's do this. Let's do that first. But
and chemo didn't work for me. I'm sorry.
You would think that if a patient comes back with that, they would give every option there is.
Well, the thing about it is, you also have to remember the healthcare profession or the healthcare industry is a business. And so people go for what they know. Now, my oncologist, bless her heart, her mother had breast cancer. And so sometimes you can get someone that's in it so far that they can't see anything but what they know or what they're traditionally taught. And that's why you always have to make sure that you're advocating, like Rochelle said, make sure you're getting that second opinion, make sure you're getting with someone else. Because here's the deal. I went back, they came back 6 weeks, because she's like, it's going to be 6 weeks. I was like, well, either I'm going to die in 6 weeks or I'm not. I'm just going to be frank with you. And so everybody on the panel knows, and I'm going to be very honest, I had no plans on taking chemotherapy. None. I agree. Several people have gone through what we call chemo hell, and I wasn't planning on it. So the Oncotype DX test came back. My cancer is only estrogen receptive. It wasn't triple positive. So literally now, here's a report. The NIH and the CDC had been doing a study on estrogen receptive cancers. 75% of the women that had estrogen receptive cancer, chemotherapy does nothing for it. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. So I would have spent $70,000 out of pocket for chemo that wouldn't have done anything but wreck my body.
Right. Right. That's what yeah, because I watch how chemo basically kind of destroyed my mom a bit. I didn't want to go through that myself. So I agree. I said I didn't want to do chemo as well. But they told me that University of Chicago, my surgeons told me that it wouldn't work on my cancer. So we didn't do that. It's a form of pill that I got to take for 5 years. It's kind of chemo, but that's not the actual chemo that
It's not the infusion.
yeah, it's not the infusion one, no.
Rochelle, may I ask, how are you feeling now going through the storm? You're actually in it right now.
Yeah.
I'm a little tired. I can feel that it's weakening my bones. So that's why I was fighting so hard to get out of being a carrier and see if I could work inside the plant. They finally finalized it on the 23rd. So I'll be working in the inside instead of walking out there in the street so that I won't fall or hurt myself even further.
How are you mentally and emotionally? Where's your headspace right now regarding this?
This thing gonna be gone soon. That's the way I see it.
Amen. I know that's right. Okay,
right.
I like that.
It's already out of me, so I'm just making sure nothing else don't come back.
Amen. And you're getting out and about. Well, we were together
A little bit. Yeah, I'm getting out.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. That's okay. So what type of support group, family, friends do you guys have?
Family and friends.
Okay.
All the time. Co-workers, constantly they check up on me. Everybody calls me. My brothers and sisters, they every other week they do a what you call it?
Wellness
Zoom,
check.
Zoom, and we take a little shot together or something. Or some water, depends. They say you can't have too much alcohol, but me, I'm a sailor.
Michelle, did this experience change you any?
Oh, it changed me a lot. For me, I think it was God's way of saying you need to get on the correct path. And like I was telling my doctor, because my doctor said, well, without the chemo, I only give you 5 years. And I told her, it's whatever God gives me.
Exactly.
And you're not God. So I'm going to take those 5 years and do the things that I need to be doing to serve God. Once I got on the path, things start to get better. I've written 8 children's books. I'm working on 2 more. I've published 2, and I'm getting ready to do a major fundraiser for our public hospital. But let's see. Like Rochelle said, I had a fall. I broke my hip in 2019, December 28th. I was in a parking deck. I was on my way to the SEC championship to give away books. I had my poster, did not see the speed bump, and I was walking fast. Boom. And at first I thought it was cool. I was like, let me check my head, make sure I didn't bust my head open. Had a little, little bump, some little scrapes underneath the clothes. And then I went to get up and my eyes went, no. That hip is done. And so I was in the hospital for New Year's 2020. And I was in a wheelchair 4.5 months. But God, I'm walking.
And you're healed. Rochelle, do you have any children?
I have one son, 26.
Okay.
26.
What about you, Michelle? Any daughters?
I have, all my children are adopted.
Okay. And
I have a son and 2 daughters.
Okay.
And so I don't have any biological children. They're all mine, but I did not have.
Children.
Okay.
Yeah, the question I'm asking was leading up to, do you have a fear that your children would inherit cancer as well? Just like
I keep him up to date. I let him know what's going on with me, as well as my other siblings too, to tell their children. And I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
You're good.
No, we hear you.
And I tell them we like me and my cousins, we have a group chat that I keep them up to date and tell their children so that they can know what's going on with me and check on themselves as well. So we
Have,
keep up to date about everything with my siblings, my cousins, and so on.
have you had your son go to the doctor to check him, because you do know men get breast cancer as well?
Yeah, I
So-
let him know that too, and he does get checked as well.
Okay.
I don't think he starts right now. They want them to start at a certain age, but he's healthier than me.
But you know what?
He's in shape, but yeah, he is checking on that. I talk to
Okay.
him about it all the time. So
Okay, something you just said, they want them to start checking at a certain age. And I understand they have like for different cancers at this age, at that age. But
right.
if there is, there are other people in the family that do have types of cancer, that age thing kind of goes out the window a little bit.
No.
Because you kind of want to catch it. So they didn't say that for that?
No, they for me when I they just the doctor told me when my mother had it, they said I need to start 5 years earlier than her, which is they said 40.
Okay.
So I need to start at 35. But I started, I believe, at I might have started at 35, or I was between 30 and 35 when I started. When I found out that she had breast cancer, I started immediately.
Okay.
Myself.
Okay. Whew, this is.
Although I've always had the breast examination whenever you do your what you call that? I'm so blank on the normal doctor. The women get the pap smear.
Mm-hmm.
We always do the breast examination on that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been real quiet. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask a question. So, both of you ladies, number one, thank you guys for coming on here and sharing your stories. So, both of you ladies have had your breast removed, correct?
Yes.
And I think Gina kind of touched on it, but did that make you feel differently? And not to be insulting or anything like that, but did it make you feel less than a woman when it happened?
You want to go first? Where?
Go ahead, Rochelle, because you're right in the fight.
Because I was fighting. Because another reason why I chose to stay with University of Chicago, because we was fighting to save my breast. And although we made the tumor get smaller, it wasn't small enough. It was still too big. So that's why I made the decision to cut it off, because after a year of doing the treatment and it was getting smaller, but it wasn't small enough. So I didn't want to do another more years keeping this in me. Right. So I made the decision to go ahead and cut it all off. I was dating, actually, when I found out, maybe I say about 2 months after I found out that I felt the breast, the tumor in me. Mm-hmm. I was dating, and I talked with him about it, and he was okay with it. It didn't make me. I was concerned of how he would think of me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But bottom line was, it was about saving my life.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is some men, and I know of some stories because his mother is a cancer survivor, and I remember she telling me that she went through it. Some men are insecure of not having two breasts.
Well, then he probably could relate, with his mom going through it.
Mm-hmm. He related. That's why he was okay with me. He was like, he's not a breast man anyway. That's what he said.
There you go, Michelle. How about you?
I had a hard time. I'm a positive person, but the JP drains hurt after surgery. I couldn't get comfortable. You can't sleep. And then, you got to look at those scars every day. And here's my vanity. When I was younger, I had a Coca-Cola bottle shape. I was 38, 24, 38. You know, and even as an I'm 60 now, but you know, I had a really nice shape, you know, and so now I'm flat. I went from a 40D to nothing. You know, clothes don't fit, and you know, you get up and you're like, but the realization has to come when, you know, when I have those conversations with guys, like you have a mission that's bigger than you having breast. You know, it's still some mornings I get up, I'm still pissed because it's like it was not only that, because I asked the doctor, could he conserve the nipple? In my family, genetically, all the women in our family have nursing nipples. And so it was that belonging. And so that was the other part of it, you know.
Yeah.
I get better every day. There's some days I have a setback. You know, I get up in the morning, you know, I just go and punch the bag a little bit and, you know, it's like get over myself. But yeah, I miss my breast. I do.
But you know what? Now they're doing some new things now where they are doing reconstructions now. And that's what I'm going through. Because although I did take the my left breast off, I still have part of my skin. They put a what is called
a flap
expander inside of me to keep my skin at the size that I want my breast to be. I'm downsizing. So because I was a 42 triple D. And I'm downsizing now. So I have the expander in me and I'm at the radiation. Then 6 months later, I would do the reconstruction, downsizing my breast. So I would still have some breast, but you taking part of my stomach to put in my breast because I don't want the silicone stuff. No. So that's the new technology now. Because back then, when my mom had the breast cancer, they just, they just cut everything off and you was flat. And you had one of those plastic things to try to look like you had some breast.
Right. Now, Dolores said, my mom had colon cancer, and when I turned 50, I started getting my colon check. So she started early, like you said that they request that you do.
Yeah.
Well, you know, my thing is, we have aches and pains all the time. You know, at what point do we think, you know, because some of us don't go to the doctor. Let's just keep it 100. Some of us do not go to the doctor. What point do you think that it's cancer? And, you know, because I don't want to, you know, I've gone through it myself, okay, prostate. And it actually came back. When I played the video earlier of my friend, he thought he beat it. He thought he had beat it. He felt something, and then it came back and it took him out. Okay. And what I just don't understand how it ravaged his body. It totally ravaged him. Okay? He got to be so thin, but I just don't understand. And I guess part of that is understanding the disease itself. But you know, we as men, we don't go to the doctor like we need to.
No.
Okay? So we can walk around with a pain, and we'll think it's just a stomach ache or something like that, and it might be cancer. I mean, how do we get people to understand that? Now we know about your story. What needs to be done to get people to these doctors, to get them to understand that this is just as big as COVID?
I don't know why we black folks always waiting to the last minute. It's so hard for us to do, you know.
It's all.
It's not just the black folk. It's like even with the COVID, we don't want to even get the COVID to even spread it amongst each other, or even help each other. It's like we procrastinating helping each other do anything. We always the last to do something together or to help each other out.
I would suggest starting to do an annual exam, whether you're a male or female, just period. You never know. I didn't have cancer. There was a scare, not for me, from my doctors within the past few months. I was at the doctor's office for something for my lungs and found out that my thyroid was 6 times the size and had all type of tumors. And I was, I have great faith, and I was like, okay, whatever, God's got it. And after they took it out, the doctors were all telling me that they were so afraid that it was cancer. My suggestion, and I don't know, especially with men, I have no clue why they are so afraid or just don't like going to a doctor. Start taking your annual exams. Start researching to see what other type of exams that you know, colonoscopy, different things that they're really, the medical society, whatever, is suggesting. Take the exams. You know, I hear a lot of people say that, you know what, I don't want to go because I'm afraid they're going to find something. But isn't
Right.
it better to find something at the beginning before it gets so bad,
I tell you
whereas
what,
there's nothing you can do?
I tell you what, when I get 70, right, or 75, maybe 80, you can find all you want. I'm done. Find it. I'm done. I don't care. I'm gone. I don't want to live that long anymore.
What made you go to the hospital? You just said that you had yes, you, when you found out that you had cancer. What was it that
I was tired. I was. It was back in the day when I was doing my show. I was trying out for a professional basketball team, and running up and down the court. It was. I'm sorry, it's semi-pro. I'm not going out. Not the NBA. I had NBA dreams, but I couldn't do it. Right, semi-pro. And I was going up and down the court. I was just tired. Tired. And I went, and because it was unusually tired. I'll put it like that. And I went and I got diagnosed with prostate cancer, but I didn't tell anybody. I tried to deal with it myself because I don't like people to sympathize. I don't like that. Just leave me alone. I'm gonna continue my life. And it just got worse. And I finally came back to Gary, and I broke down, told my mom and dad about it, broke down, and got taken care of. Little did I know that my father, he had the same thing. Okay. Me, I don't like needles. I don't like surgeries. I don't like hospitals. Okay. So I was taking, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the shots as opposed to anything else. I was taking the shots. My father went on and had his taken out. Okay. He just said, I ain't messing around with it. All right. But do you truly, when the doctors say, because I with my friend, and I keep thinking about this, they told him that he was cancer free. So when they tell you that you're cancer free, it seems like it's a license to say, okay, I don't need to go back to the doctor anymore. I'm good. Are you truly cancer free when they say you're cancer free?
Well, there's no way to know that. Here's the deal. There's always a chance of reoccurrence within the first 10 years. I took the maintenance medication for 5 years. I took the Arimidex, and then I had to have my scans. But breast cancer can come back and can come back anywhere in your body. And so that is always, when somebody has cancer, what they're thinking about. Is it going to come back? And if so, when? And so, every time I'm feeling and touching and feeling, and I'm like, if I feel something strange, I'm like, I'm going to the doctor. Because you just do not know.
That's just this is cancer is terrible. I don't have to tell you guys. It's just a terrible disease, and it seems as if it picks and chooses. You know what I mean? But we know that it doesn't. All right. And one thing that you said, Michelle, you're a believer. You trust in God, and you put it in His hands and let it go. Just let it go.
You got to do your work. You do your work. God does God's work. But again, if I hadn't had the breast cancer, I probably would have never started writing the children's books.
Exactly.
I was working like a nut, going up and down the highway all the time, just not taking the time out to do the things that I needed to be doing. And so, again, a wake-up call. You can get your wake-up calls now or later.
Yeah.
My father, he had prostate cancer. And thought he had beat it, came back as spinal cancer.
Mm.
And so, you know, again, and my dad, you know, he was in 3 wars. So I think most of the stuff that I've gotten or I'm going through is environmental. I was a welder by trade. I've worked in chemical plants. I've done some of all kinds of things. Because people ask me, you know, I had people ask me, "Are you mad because you got breast cancer?" I wasn't mad about getting breast cancer, or I didn't ask why me, because it was why not.
Yeah.
With all the stuff that I've done, I welded for many years. I mean, I sucked in all kinds of fumes. So there's no telling where I could have gotten it from.
Right.
My
Right.
mother didn't have breast cancer. My grandmother on my mother's side didn't have breast cancer.
Mhm.
But on my father's side, I've come to learn that my Aunt Josie had breast cancer. But I didn't know. And the other part of this is we need to share the family medical histories and stop keeping that stuff to ourselves.
Mhm.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yes.
I didn't know that my grandmother had bad arthritis. My sister has bad arthritis. My mother's like, "Oh, don't claim that." And then when I finally we were talking, I'm like, "Oh yeah, your grandmother had bad." I say, "I wish you had told me that. I probably would have been a little bit more careful with the falls and stuff, you know."
You're right. You're right. You're right.
So we need to share the medical history. We need to find out as much medical history on our families as we can. That is going to be another way that we save ourselves.
You're correct about that. Because I found out I had ulcerative colitis. I couldn't figure out why I was sick, why my side was hurting so bad, why I couldn't use the bathroom. Something was stopping me, stopping my through my colon. Couldn't figure it out. Went to the doctor, and then when I was hospitalized, my auntie called me and told me, and came up there and told me, "Well, I have Crohn's, and your Uncle Sam got have Crohn's." And I was like, "Well, what is Crohn's? I never heard of that before." And come to find out, Crohn's is a cousin to ulcerative colitis,
It is, yeah.
and it is hereditary. So, yeah, you're right. Family need to talk about everything. We need to know what's going on in our family, who, what, when, why, and so we can fight this thing and won't continue on.
Yeah.
I think it just needs to be continuously be talked about. You know, this is Breast Cancer
Yeah.
Awareness Month, but why do we have to just take a month to talk about it and sensationalize it when it should be talked about all through the year? You know, there needs to be something said about breast cancer and breast cancer survivors, the people who are supporting the people with breast cancer. All of these people. I mean, we need to continuously talk about this. We need to keep it in the headlines.
And not just breast cancer, but any kind of cancer. It's
I was
all
just saying,
devastating.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
it's all devastating to
And it
everyone
be
around.
hidden.
And that's the question I have for you ladies. How exactly did it affect your family? Because you know, a lot of times individuals think, well, it's me, it's just me, I'm dealing with it. But how did your family, how did it affect your family?
Well, it was a strain on my relationship. I'm divorced now. My family, you know, they took it well. We were still recovering from my mother dying. Everybody was still, because I literally, for the year after my mother died, it was kind of like a zombie. And so, you know, you're just surviving. And so they were supportive, but they weren't around me. Um, you know, but I had my prayer warriors, like my bestest best friend. We're like sisters. We've known each other since we were 9 months old. So her, my other best friend, my pastor. I had so many of my church members that were coming for me, you know, and so that made a big difference in my life, having all that support from my spiritual family.
Mhm.
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
that
I
I mean,
do.
go ahead.
I had backup too. My family was there for me. My friends was there for me. My co-workers, my church family. I had a lot of support. My bowling family. I had a lot of support and backup. They was there for me. And I'm glad the new relationship that I have, he's been by my side. Previous, no, but this one right here has really been with me through thick and thin. So I
I
had
think
good support.
I think that's so important,
Mhm.
because once you get that, you feel like you're
You
alone.
feel loved.
No idea. You're just in a world by yourself. Uh,
Exactly.
and to have somebody that's there for you, that's not pitying you, but truly cares, truly there for you. That's a beautiful, beautiful feeling.
Mhm.
It
Beautiful.
is.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you
Glad
guys,
I'm not alone.
you guys have a story, a testimony. So now let's fast forward to today. What are you guys doing, Michelle? I didn't have to ask you, because when before
Good.
the show started, Michelle was busy. Okay, But what are you guys doing now? Past all of this, I know that you're Rochelle. You're going through it right now, but uh, to get to normal, to get to the norm, what do you do?
What I always been doing, just talking, hanging out with family, just being around family friends at times and all. Still working. I'll be going back to work Monday.
Okay.
So well, that'll be the new job in the inside. So yeah, just going back to normal. Being strong. I gotta strengthen myself some way, but I gotta wait till after radiation because that's kind of making me feel weak and
Mhm.
making my bones feel weak and all.
But you're good, right?
But I'm good. Mentally, I'm good.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yes, yes.
We're gonna block this amount of time off of Michelle, because she got a lot of things going on. Go ahead, Michelle, the computer lady.
All right. Well, I'm writing books for kids.
Mhm.
I'm also a publisher. I teach. I teach computer hardware repair once a month. I'm the new public relations manager for the PIC TV network. I'm doing philanthropy work. I've got a fundraiser coming out first quarter next year, and I'm going to be working with a foundation of somebody Mr. Steve Harvey and Mrs. Marjorie Harvey.
Marjorie, yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations.
First quarter
Ooh,
next year, I'll be working with their foundation.
congratulations.
Yeah. So,
Congratulations.
Okay.
Are
well,
you going
one
to be in
thing
the
is,
Chicago area?
well, he's here in Atlanta, him and his wife,
Okay.
and
Oh,
so, but I'm going, and I've got new grandbabies. I've got a great grandbaby I haven't seen yet, and I've got one coming that I can't hardly wait. So, um, just God is just blessing me. I'm
yeah.
also looking to break ground on building my own home.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Oh, look at the Lord. I mean, you got a fan here, Michelle.
That's my auntie.
She's still a fan.
Man,
Still a
yeah.
fan. And she said, I am so proud of you, Rochelle. You are a very strong person. I love you.
Hmm.
That is support you
That's my
need.
auntie. I love
Yes.
her too. She's in my corner too all the time.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And Greg, see, Gina didn't tell you. I'm also a finalist for a Distinguished Authors Guild Award for my book, Mommy Was an Entrepreneur.
Yes, she is.
There you go. There you go.
Well,
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Yeah,
you ladies are so strong and you're
Oh,
not
yeah.
letting this slow you down at
What
all.
the
I
hell?
really,
Wait a minute. Rochelle, you okay?
Ugh,
Rochelle?
it's supposed to be charged.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. You okay?
she did a Jeff.
she fell in the black hole.
Rochelle, are you okay?
I think she thinks her phone isn't charged,
Oh, okay. She fell
but
out trying to plug it in.
it's still charged. I mean, she's still on, so she doesn't know it though. But
Okay.
she'll be all right. We still got Michelle here. We're
She'll be
talking
back.
about we're talking about cancer, cancer survivors, and actual guests. The guests that are on here are actually going through it and have gone through it, and they're still thriving. Okay, and that's the most
Mhm.
important part about it,
Mhm.
thriving. And I love to, I get emotional about this because, like I said, it's taken away a few of my friends and relatives, and it's just terrible, terrible disease. But where can we find the light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, the light is number one, making sure that you do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. When I got my initial diagnosis, I didn't actually tell my folks. Number one, not because I didn't want them to know, it's just because I did not have the bandwidth to emotionally babysit anybody.
Wow.
I needed to focus on my healing. And so that's why I called my prayer warriors to go to battle with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I told my family after the surgery, because once they went in, they got the cancer out and they checked the margins, and my margins were clean.
Okay.
So that's always a good sign. The only thing is, my surgeon, I wish I had picked another surgeon. He was not the best candidate that I could have had. My internist recommended him, but he did some.
We don't censor nothing here. We don't censor nothing here. Go
okay.
Say.
He did some fucking bullshit. Real up. I had the JP drains in my chest, so I went back so he could take out the one here on the left side. Now, I told him, I asked him, I said, are you going to numb me? Because I hadn't taken anything. I literally, after I left the hospital, I was taking Tylenol. That was it. I wasn't taking any heavy pain medication. So, he's asking my partner a question, and I turned to see the response, and he yanks the JP drain out my chest.
What?
Leaving, and I have a scar to this day. And so when I went back to get this side done, the nurse practitioner did this side. There's no scar on this side where the JP drain is left, but here, and it's still very painful. So the other thing is making sure, and he didn't respect my wishes, because we had talked about they took the sentinel node out, right? He was supposed to wait for the pathology to come back from the lab before he went under the arm to take the lymph nodes. He didn't have to take the lymph nodes because the sentinel node was clean. He just didn't wait for the pathology to come back. Just those kind of things.
This dude.
Yeah, this dude. And so that's why I never went back to him, because I was like, if I go back and I had all my strength, he's going to get punched.
He can still get punched now. Give me his name, I'll ride down.
So, but I just, I don't have any more. I didn't have anything else to say. And I told my internist, I was like, I'm going to have to report him because it was unnecessary. And so her and I were talking because she was angry because I didn't go through. And then when I produced the documentation from the NIH and the CDC that the type of breast cancer I had, chemo wasn't effective. And I had to take it to my oncologist because she was still trying to push chemo. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing the chemo. Let it go.
Wow.
Because if I have a reoccurrence, say it does come back.
Right.
God, no, I'm not wishing for that. But just say, I now would be able to do chemo because I didn't do it the first round, and it might do something for me.
Right.
You can't throw everything at it all the time.
But when you're, and I think that you guys can agree, when you're going through something like that, when you get that news, you're following what the doctor says, like you know, and you're reaching for whatever cure you think you can get.
But you want to get the accurate one. You want to always get a second opinion, right?
You want to get a second opinion, but the thing about it is you can't go for everything the doctor says, because you have to remember they're in a practice. A lot of doctors are still learning that we're not just a patient, but my name is Michelle.
Right.
Person.
I'm an individual, right? Exactly.
So what worked for somebody else might not work for me. And that's why you have to constantly be vigilant about your health. You have to constantly be vigilant about your treatments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything a doctor wants to do to me these days, I'm researching. When I broke my hip, And the young lady came in there. It's like, you broke your acetabulum. I'm like, okay, let me look this up. I need to see what's going on. And then I looked up. Okay, I realized once I did all the research, I was in the hospital bed. I got 2 phones. They had 7 days to do the surgery. 7. If they didn't do it in 7 days, I wouldn't be able to walk right. Now, this is the same break that Tua Tagovailoa and Bo Jackson had. But because I have the sarcoidosis and the breast cancer, I have a granuloma that's pressing against the trachea. So they had to be careful going in with the intubation tube because it could have bust my lungs open. But again, still fighting, still advocating, still knowing, when they picked me up in the ambulance, I knew all my medical history. I had, I knew what I was allergic to, all those things. I could tell them right off the bat. And those are the things that we need to do as people. We need to make sure that we're informed about our bodies.
Right.
We need to make sure that we need to make sure that when we're talking to these doctors, we're working with them as the care team, not just listening to them.
And Michelle, you brought up a good point about sharing your history with your family and your immediate family. That's something I talk to my family about a lot, because I had to tell a 80-something-year-old aunt, she fell out on me. And we were already at the hospital in hospice with my grandmother, and she fell out, and they started asking me questions. And, she came to, taking her to the emergency room. But as I called all of her kids, get up here, I have no clue anything about her. And the kids, all grown, 50s and 60s, said, we have no clue either. And so I try to tell people, tell your at least immediate family, have with me and my mom, I'm her caretaker. I have a list, all doctors, all illnesses, all meds, because one of you might not be able to tell, your family or anything, and you might need to know before they can get into the computers to look up your health history. And that is so important with families. I understand you don't want sympathy and things like that, but if it's at least one person that knows your history and what you've gone through, what you're going through, that's close to you,
right,
in case of an emergency. That is so important, because it could be something that, like you said, 7 days. What if something you had gone out or something and they had to put you in a coma, Lord forbid, or something like that. And, you could have had family, or someone close to you, like, look, this is what she suffered from now. She's had this, that, and get it the right treatment, period. Allergies, anything, you really need to let people know.
I'm going to tell you, if anybody was to tune into the show right now, at this moment right here, and look at the comments and see that we're talking about cancer survivors, cancer people that are going through it, they would not look at these 2 beautiful women at the bottom of the screen and think, they'd be like, no, that ain't what they're talking about. These women have not gone through this, because you guys are beautiful, number one, okay? But you talk so vividly about it, and you're happy. You know what I mean? You guys look so happy.
Yeah. Because not only when you get a mammogram, that ultrasound actually helps you out as well. Because that ultrasound, as Michelle was saying earlier, how she had the lymph nodes. She didn't need to take her lymph nodes. They had to take 4 lymph nodes out of under my arm out, because there was a tumor there as well. I didn't feel nothing under my arm. So that's part of your breast as well. So that's something you find, that helps you find out what else is going on with you as well. But luckily, everything came out negative when they took it all out. Just a 10% chance that it might come back, but we ain't claiming that.
Yeah, we ain't claiming that. We ain't talking about that. Okay, we fighting that, man. We fighting all of that.
Yeah, that's already gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, I turned 60 this year.
I turned 50.
So I'm happy to get to 60. I'm
happy
celebrating all year.
I'm happy you there, and you're doing so many great things too.
Yes.
what would you I know you said it all through, both of you have said it all through this conversation. What do you tell people?
Mind.
What do you tell people, who um might be, well, let's say, let's do it in two parts. What do you tell people that are going through this right now, to encourage them? What do you tell them?
First, you got to keep a positive mind. You got to be positive. You can't be negative, being hysterical about the situation. Grab it by the hands and be like, okay, now this is what I got to do. I need to make sure I take care of this. Make sure I get the right doctors that going to handle me like they would handle themselves.
Yeah.
Michelle?
The other part, make sure you're advocating. Make sure that you're reading about the cancer that you have. Make sure you're reading those reports when they come back. So you know and you're informed, because it's not just you and it's not just your doctor. You're a care team together. And make sure that all the doctors are talking to each other.
Yes, yes. Yes, that's what I like about University of Chicago, because it's a team of doctors and not just one doctor telling the other one doctor, what to do.
And then for me, it's God first.
Amen. Yes.
I remember when I went under, I was going under, and I asked God to be with me the whole time. And you have to have those, for me, I have to have those prayer warriors. I don't know, I can't say for everybody else, but God has gotten me through everything that I'm going through.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Damn,
as long as you got that in your life.
What the hell?
That and good friends, prayer warriors. And the other thing is, start to plan or start to do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself.
There you go.
Don't sit here because everybody else, oh, I'm worried about you, I got you on my worry list. You don't have to worry. If you believe in God, why are you worried? Because if you're worrying, you shouldn't be believing in God. So, get your priorities right. Make sure you can take care of the things that you need to take care of. And don't forget to delegate the stuff, the small stuff. If you need some help, ask for it.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go to the other side. I see Rochelle is in the other zone. She'll be back up, hopefully. Let's go to the other side. What do you tell the people who are supporting or have yet to support someone who's going through what you guys have gone through?
Don't make it about you. I have a lot of people, oh, well, I feel and I'm hurting too. And it's be a support system. If you can't be a support system and it's too much for you, just say, hey, I'm going to pray for you. I sympathize with you, but I can't go through it with you. That way, you're not taking up the emotional bandwidth somebody needs to heal, because we can't take care of you. Literally, we can't take care of someone else while we're trying to heal ourselves.
Right.
We need all the things we can do to stay upbeat. So if you're a worrier, stay over in that corner. But if you're a prayer, come over in this corner. And then ask them what they need. Sometimes it's little stuff. Can I come by and drop you off a meal? Or, come by, wash the dishes, or just sit with you and just listen. You don't have to have solutions. Sometimes we just need people to just, girlfriend, I'm here, and you can just talk.
Yeah, that's I wanted to ask also, there are how many stages to cancer when you first notice it? Because I know a lot of people, they get to when they notice it, it's at stage 3 or stage 4 already. What are the stages though, and how are the stages categorized?
Okay, well, now it depends on the type of cancer you have. Like, I was an estrogen receptive cancer, and like I told you, there's 40 different types of breast cancer.
Okay.
But you have your P size where it's almost not noticeable. That's in the stage 1. Stage 1, grade 1. Then stage 2, grade 2. Stage 3, grade 3. Stage 4, grade 4, and then stage 5. And when we're talking about stage 3 and 4 cancers, you're talking about cancers that are aggressive. And in stage 4, a lot of times they've already metastasized. That means they've popped into the lymph nodes and they're starting to invade the rest of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's talk about the different types of breast cancer. Okay. I told you about triple positive. There's a triple negative breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Robin Roberts went through. With the triple negative breast cancer, that means there isn't anything for the medication to bind to. That's why they're so aggressive. And that's why chemo is their first. Chemo is what they do. And it's a prayer and chemo, because the chemo may work, it may not.
Right.
And so you have to make the decision, because now Robin Roberts had a triple negative breast cancer, but what happened was the chemo ended up making her have a blastoma, and she ended up having to have a bone marrow transplant from her sister. So there's all kinds of side effects.
You're muted.
I apologize, but there's all kinds of side effects that go on with this treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Robin Roberts had that triple negative, but they beat that. But the blastoma came from the cancer medication.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can have radiation, and the radiation burn the skin so bad that you have side effects from the radiation. So with everything you have to just, number one, make sure you do your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're checking. They give me your medication. No, I need to see this. You got to sign something. I need to read this.
Yes.
Have your internist work with you, because my internist was awesome. She's a sister, a young sister here in Georgia. Her and her sister were in practice together. And so I could talk to her. And she was listening to me. She wasn't just, I'm the doctor and you do what I say.
Exactly.
She was actually part of the care team that was listening. And even with my oncologist, I mean, we battle. When I went to my oncologist, she's like, I want you to do so-and-so. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. She's like, why? I was like, let's read this. Let's do this. The biggest part of this is making sure that you advocate. You have to research too, because they're human. They make mistakes, not on purpose, but they see lots of patients.
Damn.
Anything can happen.
Yes, anything can happen, especially in that corner over there.
Rochelle over there fighting the phone, you guys. Beating that phone up.
Girl, what's going on?
So,
Rochelle's over there. She's talking so sweet and nice, and all of a sudden the phone. She's like, damn. We don't censor that. Go ahead, Michelle. I'm sorry.
well, that's why I'm in my favorite chair with my arms up. I can't go nowhere. I'm locked in because I can't do any more falling. No.
Boy.
Well, hey, look, we have had a great time talking.
We
with
have.
you. We learned a lot. I hope the audience, everybody that's watching, has at least got a little clarity on some things. All right, these ladies they're actually going through it and have gone through and are thriving. They're actually doing some great things with their lives. All right, Michelle, have you ever thought about doing something as far as a seminar or something like that to help women and men learn more about this?
Absolutely. We're going to work on that. It's like everything is timing.
Mm-hmm.
As like you good folks have asked me to come and advocate and talk about and share information. I'm doing that more and more and more.
Good.
But again, we have to always remember people have to be ready to accept it, because a lot of times people are like, oh, well, if I talk about cancer, I'm going to get cancer. We're not talking about you getting cancer. We're talking about you making sure that you prevent it. A lot of times you can be preventative by, number one, taking care of yourself. Right. Let's talk about men. Richard Roundtree talks about cancer every year. He's a breast cancer survivor, and he talks about the negative connotations around men having breast cancer, and it shouldn't be any negative connotations. You got to remember, God made man and male and female. Okay, the difference between a man and a woman, we have wombs, and we have chest, but we have breasts so we can feed the babies.
Mm-hmm.
You still have nipples. You understand what I'm saying? You just don't have you don't have lactation.
Right.
So anytime you have nipples, that means you can get a cancer in the nipple. Some of the things that men need to be watching out for. Number one, checking up underneath the arms. That's what Rochelle said. Checking they're good. The other thing is checking on the side.
What are we looking for though?
And then around.
What are we looking for?
You're looking for changes. You're looking for you're feeling for
Lord.
lumps. And if you're doing it on a regular basis, you'll know what your skin is supposed to feel like. Also, with men, sometimes they get an inversion of the nipple or they get a discharge. Knowing the signs. It's just like my father had prostate cancer. The first thing with prostate cancer, having a hard time urinating. Feel like you passing razor blades. That's what my daddy said. Wow. But, they pay, that their men are trained, oh, I'm strong. I'm not show weakness. It's not a sign of weakness to take care of yourself. It's not.
Woo! Razor blades. All right. That's all I got out of that whole sentence. Pissing razor blades. Woo-hoo. Anyway, I'm trying to stretch this out a little bit so that we can say goodbye to Rochelle. But Michelle, we're so proud of you. Number one, this is Rochelle's she's actually been the only guest that has been on here twice.
Michelle or Rochelle?
Rochelle.
Michelle, right. Okay.
And the last time we didn't have enough time because I think she's a little Jamaican. She got so much stuff going on. She's doing so much stuff, but nobody, again, if somebody was to get on here and if Michelle started rolling down her list of accolades, they wouldn't believe that she's a cancer survivor. They would not believe that. Okay. Because when people say cancer and people survive, they're looking for people that have been debilitated, their bodies all messed up. They survive, but they're not looking good. Okay. And this is a beautiful woman right here. All right. You're doing your thing, Michelle. I'm so proud of you.
But you know what, Greg? Yes. What you just made the comment on, that's because back in the day, when you would hear that someone had cancer, it was like, oh, that's a death sentence. But each day that we're going, there's research going on constantly. So like say maybe today they might say, hey, we don't know, we really don't have anything out here for this today, but tomorrow, next week, the next month or something, there are always things coming up, so.
Here's a problem I have though. So this COVID thing came up, right? And now all of a sudden, real quick, there's a cure, not a cure, but a remedy, a vaccine for that can help you out. Okay. You got cancer that's been around forever, even though COVID has been around for a minute, but cancer's been forever. Where's the proper research for cancer so that it can slow this death rate down? Where's the proper research for this? Where's the proper antidote, cure, whatever,
Well, here, and let me say it to you like this. Unlike cancer, because, we've had cancer for many, many years, and there's different types of cancers. The biggest help with cancer is we have to make sure that we're doing what we can do to make it preventative. Okay. We have to be our own advocate, because you got to remember, cancer comes from either environmental, hereditary, stress, or the fact that we don't eat well, we don't exercise, we don't walk, so we have to take care of ourselves better in order to have less cancer.
Yeah.
The thing with COVID, the difference with COVID is it's almost an instantaneous killer. You got to remember, 4 million people around the world have already succumbed to this within the last couple of years.
That's right.
Now, not saying that cancer doesn't have a high mortality rate, but not this quick and not this fast.
Right.
Mhm.
And so the thing with COVID, number one, we could have avoided some of it if we had had a better person in charge.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it. Obama left a playbook for the pandemic. None of what was followed because a brother made it. That's all I can look. I'm not gonna hold any punches.
I like it is.
They didn't want to follow it. Number two, try to it's gonna ruin my presidency. It's a hoax. All these things, and then here we people of color. We think about the Tuskegee syphilis experiments and other things that have been done to Black people, but you have to remember, they were keeping the medication away from us.
Mhm.
And the other thing is, this is a global pandemic. It's not just here in the United States. We
Right.
have to look outside of that. And you know that a woman, epidemiologist and virologist, helped to make this vaccine, right? She discovered the cure here.
It's a Black woman.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So all I'm trying to tell you is the medicine is on our side.
Hmm.
But the thing about it is, because we have so much skepticism of government and this, that, and the other, we don't do our own research. I went and researched all the medicines. I researched Johnson & Johnson. I researched Moderna. I researched Pfizer. And according to what's in it is according to what I took. I took the Moderna. I'm going back for my booster this week because grandma trying to live.
There you go.
Go see.
Yeah, I hear you. On that note, thank you, Michelle, for coming in here and
Thank
enlightening us. We appreciate you always.
Yes.
Our home is your home. Understand that, okay? Our home is your home. Thank you, Rochelle, for coming on and sharing your story.
Definitely. We're praying. We're
both of
praying.
you.
We're praying for both of you.
Yes.
So we're praying you get through this and keep that positive spirit
Yes.
and be a blessing to others that's going through it as well.
Well, the way we bless others is just how you said it. Prayer.
There you go.
Mhm.
Prayer. That's the number one. Prayer and keeping everybody positive. And Greg, come in with some laughter and sharing. The
That's it.
thing about it is, you really don't realize how many people that you've helped today by just having these programs.
Mhm.
And anytime you would like me to come back and discuss anything about cancer, please know that my door is open for you.
Done deal, and our door is always open for you as well. Okay, as on the discussion about cancer, but also discussions about business as well. Okay, because
Yes.
we're gonna have to take some of that off of your plate, man. You know, we ain't Jamaican like you, so you know, we can't hold it down like you, but we want to learn how to. But on the up and up, we appreciate you so much. And again, our door is always open for you, Rochelle, you as well. Before I go, man, I want to say, and everybody, you know, please keep Felisa in your prayers. She had some issues this morning. She had inboxed me, and I shared it with the group. And hopefully she's okay, better. I see her on here today, so
Yes,
you know
Felicia.
she's good.
Mhm.
We'll continue to have you in our prayers, and anybody that's going through anything like that or anything, you know, just continue as our guests have pointed out. Just pray, you know, pray on it first, and then you can create the action from that prayer. Okay, God will guide you to do the things that you need to do, and don't question it, don't fight it. All right, whatever God has in store for you, it's His will, and there's nothing we can do about it. All right, don't sweat the small stuff. All right, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Just live your best life. This is DopelivenTV Live. We gotta go.
Nice meeting you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Love
Bye-bye.
you.
Love you guys.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
All right.